Hello, everyone. Nick, the gaming otter here for more Billy Mitchell news because people can't get enough of Billy Mitchell. So we're going to get started right now with this article. All right. William Billy James Mitchell sues Brisbane YouTuber Carl Jobs for reputational damage. A professional gamer who held the world record score for arcade game Donkey Kong is suing Brisbane YouTuber. A famous arcade gamer and former Donkey Kong world record holder is suing an Australian YouTuber, William James Billy Mitchell, with lodged proceedings against Brisbane YouTuber. Carl Jobs comments Mr. Jobs made in a YouTube video published in May 2021. Mr. Mitchell claims that Mr. Jobs defamed him when he said the gamer had contributed to the death of YouTuber Ben Smith, known as Apollo Legend, in 2021. Mr. Mitchell in 59 shot to fame in 1982 when he set the world record. Hold on, set the world record right for those games, and then told Brisbane that his client defamation in 2020 for allegations YouTuber had made on Mr. Mitchell cheated on world records. The lawsuit was ultimately settled outside of court and did not entail any money value, said Peters. Well, I'm not sure if I buy that slightly. Arguing by Jobs also claimed that the gamer callously expressed joy at Smith's passing. Several months after the settlement, Mr. Smith unfortunately took his own, and Mr. Summers said he posted a video on YouTube. In essence, is to address that Mr. Smith did not blame anyone in the subsequent actions. The video Mr. Smith published on YouTube before his passing was played on court on the trial date. Mr. Jobs' video was played in court. It included allegations implying Mr. Smith took his own such and such after financial stress. So the stress caused unrest, guys, as a result of Billy Mitchell's lawsuit. Mr. Summers said the allegations connecting to his client, to Smith's death, outlined in Mr. Jobs' video, had impacted Mr. Mitchell and his reputation. Mr. Summers said there was an extensive number of public comments on Mr. They were subject to Mr. Mitchell's claim. Interesting. A separate video published online by Mr. Mitchell was also played in court. He addresses the heinous actions by Mr. Jobs. Jobs outright states, I drove Apollo to such and such. Those claims, our story, are demonstrably false. That was a total lie. Mr. Mitchell went on to explain that in the video there were no financial transactions ever between him and Mr. Smith. The reality is that we reached our settlement and went our separate ways in the video. The agreement did not have any impact on his life, contrary to the Jobs lie. I did not want to ruin his life. His health was a major factor of why I walked away. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Mitchell claimed in the video that Mr. Jobs had wanted to rile up his viewers' emotions by calling him very calculated, claim against him. In court, Mr. absolutely angry and shocked when he saw Mr. Jobs' video. I was totally lost. Quite honestly, when I heard the words and I kept watching the video, I got completely terrified. Mr. Jobs had opened up entirely on the spectrum of defamation. Nobody of my life, ever such a young man, nobody had accusation. I was totally lost. Mr. Mitchell said his health declined following the video, where he lost 25 pounds and he couldn't eat for 2 weeks. Okay. He told the court after the video was released. Right. 3 commitments to appear at video game conventions was canceled by organizers. Our event was estimated to earn 50,000, he told the court. As a business decision, the organizers felt he needed to cancel our agreement and negativity surrounded Jobs in it. He said people continue to ask him about the allegations whenever he does interviews, or fans, and which brings back the anxiety he felt. So Mr. Mitchell said he lived in absolute terror because of that. Okay, so here's the thing about that, right? Right. So when you cheat in a video game, you have a certain dark cloud effect over you that no one wants to take you seriously, and that is your own doing. So Billy Mitchell cheating in Donkey Kong is nothing to do with Carl Jobs. It has everything to do with the accountability of Billy Mitchell. So if Billy Mitchell cheated, that means that all of those negative feelings are surrounded because of the guilt he had. So, say for example, in my scenario, my opponent felt all the guilt, so they decided to run a slander campaign. And such is the case with Billy Mitchell on Carl Jobs. That is what people do when they cheat. They try to lie, they try to cheat the system, they try to do this whole like, oh well, what you said is truth, so rubber glue back to you, you're doing the same thing, and you're like, no, that's not what's happening here. I'm calling you out for your stuff. And so it's very bizarre when stuff like this happens. But anyway, guys, the court was told Mr. Mitchell had sought legal counsel in Australia about Mr. Jobs' video, and the legal discussions were underway. But Mr. Jobs would post those documents online for public viewing. It didn't matter what happened. If he received as a rebuttal from us, he just kept coming Mr. Mitchell. Previously, Mr. Mitchell claimed Mr. Jobs had made several other damning allegations that the gamer had cheated to obtain his world records, and he did. The court was told Mr. Mitchell had lost several months after an investigation by a database which vitiates and revoked his titles. He relying on a statutory defense of truth. So that's kind of sad. So, however, most of these have since reinstated. The court told Mr. Summers said it was presiding trial judge Ken Barlow to determine whether Ms. Mitchell cheated, as that was no longer part of the defamation case. Interesting. Mr. Jobs is relying on a statutory defense of truth. Mr. Mitchell is a professional video games player and movie personality. He is expected to give evidence on Monday afternoon. So we're going to go to that right here. So we have it right here. But guys, basically all you need to know about the reinstating of the records is that, well, right, Twin Galaxies, and if you don't know this, Twin Galaxies made an archive database. So that means that Billy Mitchell's scores are archived, but they do not have any place on the actual world records. Now, Guinness, for some reason, reinstated his records, but the funny thing when Guinness did it is it seemed like they just didn't want to deal with Billy, and they kind of threw him a bone. But they did it in a way that was very bizarre because it was like, well, we're gonna redact our, but we're gonna go back on Twin Galaxies. It's like you can't do that. Twin Galaxies already removed his scores, and this was back in I think 2020, and it was very bizarre. It made no sense. But anyway, guys. So Mr. Mitchell's already started the legal proceedings. Da, 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 da. So let's get on underway with day one. And here we are, underway. Before we get into what transpired on the first day of the defamation trial between disgraced cheater Billy Mitchell and champion Carl Jobs, I'd like to lodge a personal note. Usually when I write, I take my sweet time, really flesh out things. I think it's best, but I usually don't like to post like 6 write-ups in 6 days. So this week you'll be served some raw, undercooked airsets. Alright, thank you, airsets. Let me be clear. Oh, we prefer to use the term exceptionally rare. Got it. Let me be clear up front that Monday on the whole video will probably turn out to be most procedural, least interesting of the days, for reasons I'll get into. I'm here to report facts, not to clickbait you. Still, we do get some spicy stuff by the end of the day. Also, as usual, I'll be choosing to go into more detail for those who want it. Besides, these are being written in short turnaround, and to turn a phrase, I don't have time to write together something shorter. So if you're interested, read on as I turn my day 21 page on a hand-scribbled cognitive timeline. I rather continually saying, read my last update for that. I will assure I've read day 0. Right. So we read day 0. For these court updates, I will not clarifying or re-choosing every element that's been discussed. Oh yeah, one last opening caveat. Normally, I very carefully, when making direct quotes, if you read my stuff, if you've seen me declare paraphrase things, if I am transcribing a video or something, I confirm multiple times. But for these hearings, you'll hear it once, and it's done. So what I'm saying is my quotes are exact. Any quote I'm sure I'll frame with brackets like Billy Mitchell and I'm a stupid cheater who lies about everything. Like my opponent find me. Those brackets mean this conveys the meaning of what was said, but I don't swear to be the exact words, and obviously my example there was a joke. But if they're court updates, I put freestanding quotes. That means if quoted verbatim, even still, obviously I can make mistakes and I can hear things differently than the court reporter. Right, here we go. In the beginning, I was a bit worried I'd be like the only person attending this Dong Gong nonsense who wasn't one of the parties. But to my pleasant surprise, when I showed up, another of my ilk was already waiting outside the courtroom, 38, on the ninth floor. It was a nice waiting lobby, which unfortunately I was told I was not allowed to photograph. I introduced myself, and we got to chatting about the case. A few more folks showed up and joined the convo. It wasn't until much closer to the trial that Billy and Carl appeared through the nearby elevators. Carl arrived with a circle of family and friends, while Billy came alone in the sense that it was just him and his attorneys. Note that since his son Junior is slated to be a witness, he cannot attend until he is called, even if it's in Brisbane. However, no reason was given for absence of Billy's wife, Evelyn. Oh, and for those betting pools going, Billy wore his West Point tie from Florida video with Judge Friend. Right. We began to file in as a visualization aid. The back of the courtroom has 2 rows for individual seats, not benches, with the back row being exceptional squeeze. These seats were parted with 22 total on the left of the door and 10 right. That was likely due where the door was placed. As an American, I'm used to the parties themselves, Billy Carl sitting up at the tables, their attorneys, but here they actually, Carl drops is sharp black in the front left corner, and the 10 seats to the right, Billy in his usual black suit, sat deep toward the left, instead of 1 or 2 side solicitors and barristers and other Australian nonsense I'm pretending to fully understand. The judge entered at 10:02 immediately, and he and the barristers start talking. How the trial scheduled for 6 days. Uh huh. So, the interesting facts to know, guys. Interesting facts to know. Oh, anyway. Uh, Joyce was given an Australian subpoena to appear as a witness for the defense of Carl. The judge notes that the court holds no jurisdiction over people in the U.S., to which Carl drops. KB adds that the subpoenas are domesticated by U.S. attorneys to compel compliance. However, there is an application by Billy's U.S. lawyers. Set back, and hilarious, the turnaround time in the US is not until after the trial is finished. At any rate, it remains a question whether Jason can testify. Again, another update soon. The second issue was that last night, 6:08, attorneys received correspondence disputing the proposed inclusion of deposition and discovery materials from the TG case, even though, if I heard correctly, that the materials were discussed by the attorney themselves in 2023. Surprise, surprise, Billy's side goes for the last minute tricks. As usual, Billy Mitchell hates evidence. What's at issue here is whether these fall under a protective order in the U.S. case and whether that applies to you here. We discussed a protective order here. Um, so what was this one actually? Oh, that was Los Angeles. Okay, so these are that is the this is the escape from Los Angeles testimony. So if you need to see this, this is all here in this one. But we're only focusing on day one. For the first portion of the trial, the audience was filled to capacity. The judge noted that the proceeding live streamed to another room, and they did not expect much attention from this case. The judge said it would be dangerous to live stream online, given it would make the proceedings available to many overseas witnesses. He'll hear evidence. From the barrister, Billy, BB, began a long spiel summarization that the present, you'll hear evidence that the client achieved world records in Dong Kong Pac-Man. You'll hear evidence that the client sent a text message to Jace Hall, that sort of thing. Just a formal sort of way in the case making. BB was quick to note that the core issue of the trial is not whether Billy cheated, is that the issue should not be litigated. BB discussed the different versions of the contested Carl video. The 15-minute was noted not being about Billy directly, because that doesn't resonate, but about Todd Rogers. So it was decided that the video would be played. Weird. As it was played on a large screen to adjacent to the left audience, on another large screen on the right. witness boxes, and another small screen adjacent to the right lines. During the time, I peeked over at both Carl and Billy to gauge their demeanors. Carl sadly coldly as the video played. Billy pretended to be more interested in some paperwork in his hands. This is just my personal observation, but Billy looked exceptionally tired, and I don't mean sleepy or jet lagged, likely spiritually tired. There was not a lot of life in that face sat there, not on the. Uh, we watched the video as originally was published, including the Skillshare ad clip of OmniGamer and the human element icon and the grand introduction of Todd Todgers. While the audience was respectfully quiet for the most part, you could hear audible reactions. He also hired a lawyer in Australia, threatened to sue me, extort 150,000. In all likelihood, if he is not stopped, probably will sue me eventually. And now he is suing David Race for exposing him and helping Twin Galaxies with their lawsuit. It's really important to remember that Mitchell has never had a lawsuit actually go the distance and result in favor. In the past, people would get too scared and comply. When he went up against the new order of the Twin Galaxies, Jace Hall, who is anything but a pushover, the only lawsuit that actually ended in a judgment was Mitchell's lawsuit against Cartoon Network, which he hilariously lost. And trust me, he's going to lose every lawsuit out here. People are fed up with being pushed around from the beginning to the fight. Ooh, that looks bad for Billy Mitchell. So it was deemed necessary to watch the totally later at the end edit credits. Instead of showing only portions, BB discussed the thumbnail and various accounts accessible through YouTube. BB then listed claimed imputations of the video, including the client made Apollo Legend pay a large sum of money that has left Apollo Legend to death, and that led to Apollo Legend doing the deed. BB then includes that overall imputations video that his client hounded Apollo Legend to his death. An imputation of the defense denies. BB then discusses the Apollo Legend statement. You'll hear evidence the settlement did not require. However, the judge, who clearly brushed up on the details already, interjected that there was some sort of note in that settlement. Reportedly, there was a clause outlining damages in the pay of the event of the breach of the agreement. BB then cites that Apollo Legend's goodbye video was posted prior to his blank. The judge asked relevance, to which BB said to shows that Apollo did not blame anyone for his actions. There was a clear sense of discomfort in the audience, and Apollo's video was played entirely. Apollo discussed preparations he made the account and accessible to friends and family before asking viewers to tell your loved ones that you care. Later, one fellow attendee told me that I remember that. BB discussed and showed a spreadsheet of anti-Billy comments gathered from YouTube without any detail. He then played Billy's response video, and sorry, as I sat through his 2021 Billy on the screen and tired Billy 2024, the contrast felt apparent. BB listed uh, alleged imputations again through his client is a person who would cheat. I wonder how he got that reputation. Notably, Apollo Legend is in a different sector. Those already existed. BB argued that contextually the truth can only be a valid defense if the imputations after the same sector, amidst that some back and forth, KB and KB chair one at a time. BB discussed the TG dispute scores in 2019. To be fair, my ear for Australian accents is not perfect, but I'm not quite heard. I heard in 2019. You did correctly cite 2019 as the year Billy Mitchell uh, first filed in California the lawsuit, and yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know, guys. The case resumes with Billy being called the witness box, admittedly, and again, I'm going to choose. Alright, so we're going here now. The case resumed. Yeah. The case resumed with Billy being called to, as they called it, the witness box. Admittedly, it felt very surreal seeing Billy swear on some book and something that he would tell the truth, so help me God. Right? Again, I'm going to choose to offer a recap. If you're not interested in Billy rattling off his accolades, Feel free to skip ahead. Yeah, we're going to skip ahead. If you don't know about these accolades, it's already going to be like, let me see how long we're at in the video already. Yeah, we're already at 20 minutes, guys, and I know I want to go through every day, but I don't want it to be, it's already going to be long. I don't want to make it longer than it has to be. So we're going to skip through his accomplishments. We already get the 1982 stuff and all of that. So if you're a Billy Mitchell fan, just read that on your own time, please. So, all right, so it's Roy Schilt, right? So he was actually really good at missile command. All right, so Billy was asked to list movies he appeared in. He gave full name: Chasing Ghosts, The King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters, and others. He portrayed himself in all but Fiddling Horse. Billy admitted King of Kong was the most successful, adding, "My career was born out of King of Kong movies." That's interesting to say, because King of Kong, while it didn't do bad, let me look up King of Kong right now. Let's see, King of Kong. They actually call the movie The King of Kong Fistful of Quarters. So the movie did not have bad. It was a box office. Oh, never mind. Guys, do you want to guess how much the box office King of Kong was? Take a wild guess how much King of Kong box office. Okay, I'm going to load it up and show you on screen. But take a wild guess, because I look at it and I'm like, I thought it made a lot more than that. So, do we think maybe 5 million, 10 million? Get your bets in now. Of quarters. So let's do this right now. Oh, here we are. All right. So ready to see, right? According to Wikipedia, of course. So take it with a grain of salt, I guess. Right. $790,000. Let me get this straight, Billy. Your career launched on a movie that made only $790,000. That's nothing. Billy, that's nothing. That's not enough. Oh, I guess there were adaptations and sequels. Apparently there's a musical. Yeah, I don't know why I would want to watch it, but the movie does a good enough job. Honestly, I enjoy. It is a really good. It is a good movie, like as far as like Stevie versus Billy Mitchell. But the sad thing is, it's marred in controversy because of the meme and the girder finger and all that stuff. And so, yeah. So there you go. It's explained here. Anyway, let's go back to day one. Right. So this discusses Billy's invitation to the Australian lawyers, but except for 2019, and the event was canceled due to a virus. Um, so anyway, at this point at 1 p.m., judge called adjourned for lunch. I got to chat with several more individuals. All right, and post-lunch stretch. Okay, this is where BB uh, started to ask Billy to recall the events of the score disputes. Right. So we get more replying Cat Despira. Right. So BB asked Billy uh about the stream, about Benjamin Smith, about right. Uh One sec. I'm trying to see if they're still. Oh, they're still there. Okay. Right. Oh, wow. I think that she also actually did a oh, that's 2019. The excuse of the century. Oh, I love it. So, I'm sorry, guys. I had to look up sickened by YouTube claims. Yeah, I don't think it'll ever end. Allowed medical professionals to test the brainwaves of their champions while playing arcade games. This was one of the first experiments of its kind. Alright, well, I'll have to look at this later. Ugh, funny. Alright, anyway, guys, we should focus on the actual stuff going on here. So, they all swamped me with technical information that I wasn't prepared to refute. I went into impulsivity and unprepared. I'll be going over it as soon as I get the film of what happened. When do we expect the video? I'm not sure. The video was taken by someone else and is several GPS, so it'll take a long time to see it sent over. I'm still waiting for the video to get sent over to me. Then I'll need to go research it. Olga told me I couldn't refute, so I need to go through everything and I find out exactly what's true and what isn't. So Billy claimed he did nothing wrong, but his friend Charles Shaw fit to be tied. That Apollo, that right, the illegal recordings. Billy claimed to have no part in a cease and desist letter. Around this time, Billy texted Chase Hall. Right. At this point, the judge felt the need to interject. The judge strikes me as a kind of professional older man, a bit reminiscent of the criminologist narrator from Rocky Horror Picture Show, played by Charles Gray. Oh my god. Anyway, the judge admitted that this was probably a stupid question to everyone else in court, but had to clarify about what Reddit is. Wow. Billy recalled filing a defamation complaint against Apollo in 2020. Apollo legend. Today I made the decision to remove my videos from YouTube channel. I did this to fulfill an agreement I reached with Billy Mitchell, but also because I thought it was the right thing to do. I have also taken the opportunity to remove a few additional videos that have nothing to do with Billy. This has nothing to do with the agreement. I deleted them due to rapid changing nature of YouTube. That was really sad, honestly, because Apollo really did nothing wrong. You could tell that his mental state was rapidly declining here. For your own protection, I ask that you not republish these videos I produced about Billy as part of our agreement. I have given Billy ownership of these videos. That means he has the ability to remove these videos if they were published. That's really sad. Billy and I agree to our best interests, so you can tell there's some really shady stuff going that happened to Apollo. And I stand by that. That something happened between that settlement that did not sit right with Apollo. How Billy learned of Apollo's blank, it was contacted by a mutual friend, Keemstar. I wouldn't really call Keemstar and Billy Mitchell mutual friends, but okay. Apollo had posted goodbye video. Keemstar asked for Apollo's contact info, which Junior had. They tried several times, but too late. When they looked online and saw the messages, Billy, for the response, Billy claimed to be stunned and especially affected by watching his son. Billy would later, so he first met David Race in 2010, 27, I think, of his phone calls, 2017 and 19. Learned at the end of 2020 when no one showed up to California proceedings. Billy said he's suing David in Florida. Judge had clarification, which sent David to the phone call. David authenticates Florida for authentication. Billy recalled being told David's device record being both income and outgoing. Regarding the a particular phone call, Billy remembers it being 63 minutes. Billy is then shown a transcript only covers a partial portion. This is where Billy is into explanation of wacky plots from the recorded phone call. Billy said around March 23rd, 2018, it became convinced TG was not doing any real investigation. Billy explained difference between direct and over the shoulder. Billy recalled that his plan was to two recordings, third party and one to TG. TG immediately published it, and that's what they do. Billy said the community would then pick it apart and call it fake, as they should. That they assume it was an old game that matched the score. Yes, that is precariously dumb. When you get caught in hatching a prosperity dumb plan, I guess your only option is to just own it and make sense. Then Billy said he would show the new tape, and the fraudulent Billy again tried to emphasize the alleged failure of TG, to which Billy said, Billy was asked to intended to pass off those tapes as proof of old scores, to which Billy said no. Ooh, bad. On 2020, Billy claimed to be unsure with the looming of statute of limitations, so Billy was asked to authenticate his threat letter to TG and Guinness, although he adds that Guinness was not a party to any lawsuit. Reinstate on social media his own role in the public hearing, so if you need it, this is all Guinness exposed private message revealed that the truth about the reinstatement of the Billy Mitchell. That's probably interesting to note. I actually never really knew about that, so if you want to look at it, yeah, it's pretty bad for Billy. I mean, like, really bad. Yeah, so, yep, that pretty much tells you all you need to know. But I'm not going through that, I'm going through this, guys. Uh, Billy first heard of Carl Jobst. Okay, so Billy Mitchell had started legal proceedings against me as claiming to extort 150,000. Billy said the next heard Carl in 2021. My son told me about it, then we watched it. Oh. Indeed, Billy added that he watched his video about 3 times immediately. This is where Billy's voice really began to change. He started playing aggrievement. You see, Billy's incapable, uh, right, of reasoning. That's a paraphrase, but that not a, okay. Billy claimed that Carl opened up a new spectrum of damage, of hounding someone to death. Billy said he knew he obviously, alright. In an attempt to illustrate how sick this made him feel, Uh, Billy continued discussing ethics, fibrillation caused by stress and surgery. A champion sleeper, usually able to fall asleep within 10 seconds. Uh, Billy recalled Carl responding to his tweets. Um, However, Billy sent his concerns notice to Carl. Right. Asked if Billy read comments. Everyone was negative and about how Carl was right. Uh huh. He's the guy who drove Apollo to blank. Billy added that Carl has done about 20 videos about Billy and had, without counting various third parties. The judge asked Billy if he needed a break. Billy Stern said no. BB asked about Billy's business associates contacting him. Billy noted John Weeks, former owner of the pinball arcade in Banning, as having to cancel an appearance after Billy's video. Allegedly, Weeks was to pay Billy $50,000 to host their liquidation auction, and that the agreement was in place at the time of the Carl video. Billy added that Weeks specifically said it was because of negative. Ooh, okay, interesting. So I think this does get a good point of what it's trying to do. But here's the thing at the end of the day. If Billy Mitchell cheated and Billy Mitchell sent Paul Legend through all of this stress, that is the truth. You can't deny that. And at the end of the day, Billy cannot just hide behind closed corners and just act like everything he's doing is kosher. And like at the end of the day, I would personally think that Billy cannot just claim defamation even if he wanted to, because his actions are his own undoing. And that's the truth. I don't care what anyone says at this point, personally. Like, yeah, okay, he was supposed to be at this meeting, and then they didn't because of Carl Jobs. Well, at the end of the day, Carl Jobs is reporting the truth. So what you're saying is Carl Jobs should not be reporting the truth, right? Should Carl Jobs be reprimanded for reporting about the truth? No, he shouldn't. That's the case. And if anything, Billy Mitchell needs to just come forward and tell the truth. And that's the truth. And if Billy doesn't want to take any accountability, then because of Billy's the inability to take accountability, it's going to be Billy Mitchell's undoing. So if anything, Billy could have spun it and done anything else. He did it with Mame, he did it with that. Why didn't he do that? It's because it's easier to sue. So, unfortunately, it's just going to be a legal laundry of just waste of time for everybody. But this is why we're here, guys. This is why we're here. So let's get back to it. To withdraw from our agreement with you to host the auction due to the allegations from Carl Jobs that played a significant role in Apollo Legend's decision to take his own life. Due to the toxicity and negativity brought by Carl Jobs' claim that you played a role in Apollo Legend taking his life. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's a very educated hypothesis to make when you consider the fact that Apollo Legend took all of his videos on you, Billy, away, and then the fact that basically he passed away after the court. So, it's almost like you slammed him with false guilt, Billy, and then you just didn't want him to say anything bad about you. Which is there are people that say bad stuff about me online. I mean, the difference is that the people that say about me are unfounded, and the people about Billy is all in fact. So, you know, the sad thing is when it comes to the social discourse of people is that unfortunately you can't hurt people's feelings. And the problem with that is that means you can't be true because it's going to hurt someone's feelings. So, like, for example, my opponent couldn't handle losing and find me, so they did what they did to hurt my feelings. And in reality, all they did was they proved that they were desperate. So, similar to Billy Mitchell is putting down Carl Jobs for basically reporting on something that's a fact. So, when someone gets beaten or someone loses, they'll lash out any way possible. And that's just the fact. And Billy Mitchell is like my opponent by me. They are lashing out as possible as they can. And it's just sad and it shows to go what they're doing. So, due to the toxicity and negativity brought by Carl Jobs' claim that he played a role in the Paul Legends video Take His Own Life, let's take a moment to clear the air of what happened. These read awfully convenient, don't they? So like a hostage, I'm being treated well, and I'm definitely not being tortured by my hosts or tactics, right? This is very obvious, just two of Billy's suck-up friends, all playing to the recording of messages that demonstrate a financial loss that tie, right? I do not believe Billy when he says venue stop calling and ignoring. I don't believe this tripe. Oh, and while John Weeks will be a story for another time. So even Airsats doesn't believe it. It sounded a bit familiar. This because remember that video Billy filmed in the hallway, uh, where he'd be transparent? Oh, right. This is the video, guys. This is the video. It probably won't load. Okay, let's go back. Is it gonna load? Is it gonna load? Come on, come on, come on. We're gonna go through an ad, aren't we? Alright, so this is in the Wayback Machine. Oh my god! I've never seen so many dislikes. Damn, guys. You really hated this video. Damn. I wonder if it'll load the anyway, we're kinda needing to jump back. Billy claimed that these cancellations did not make any appearances and that these events, right, as well as Walter Day's movie and arcane love songs, Billy says people will come him and say, I caused someone and I'll explain that through anxiety. Uh-huh. Finally, BB declares that they have no further testimony. Judge, however, has a savvy question about the historical database. Retired in the statement asked how was the judge scores. Billy told Judge that Jace put the scores there so they couldn't be disputed. Okay. So Crossfire, like most Monday proceedings, the last hour was worth it. We got to see Billy's cross-examination. First, Carl's So BB is Billy's barrister and KB is Carl's barrister. If anybody didn't know what that meant. Since Carl's publication, Billy said one more plus the movie. I guess they won't really. Let's see if it'll load again. We'll come back to it in a moment. KB made many unpaid appearances that made to respond to Billy as something I don't have the ability to recall that, and that KB, yes, you do. You just listed 100 interviews, right? Funny thing is that funny thing. Judge tempered KB a bit, noting that the actual number was of less than 100. However, KB continued digging into Billy's claims. He asked Billy how many appearances he's made since Carl's publication. The drew some silence before Billy responded something to the effect, "What, like at school? When I appeared for kids?" Judge interjected, "I think you know what it understands." Billy recalled being a free play Florida in 2021. It was paid. He was at Galloping Ghost Arcade for a thousand game reveal, claiming that okay. Billy cited a 2023 UK event. Billy claimed a Bloomington walk-on cameo. Note, all these events had proper names, but I'm focused on publishing the daily update rather than names exact. KB said Billy claimed to have attempted the appeared right. KB asked about the Music City con KB appearance by he excited the appearance by Billy and Walter Day at the Free Play Ford event in December 2020. and the live stream of Pac-Man. This is just a lot to go over, guys, just letting you know. On November 18, 2022, attended a Spoke Free at Play Florida. Like, confirmed that was correct, but was unpaid. Right. KB recalled the events. 7 appearances through 2022, with Toe unconfirmed. Billy reiterated that he accepted one other. Did not promote Davie, Florida, Costco when KB 8 times. Here's the funny thing about all of this. Even as a disgraced Donkey Kong player and as a cheater, Billy Mitchell is still recognized. Hell, look at Anna Delvey. That's a great example. Anna Delvey is still promoted as this amazing person. And Anna Delvey did a whole lot of wrong in the world. But again, people love a spectacle, so what can we say? Anyway, let's go back real quick. Esports event which advertised Billy would be there. This event would be the event where Triforce magically found Billy's fake plaques. Oh, really? So these are Billy's fake plaques, folks. Yep. Then you can go through all of it right here. Holy moly, where do I begin? Right. I know. It's a lot to go through, guys. We're not going to go through it. We're only going through day one. So this just makes me wonder, is Triforce at this lawyer event? Probably not. I don't think Billy had enough money to pay for Triforce, so sad but true. The 8th of July, 2023, NERG event in England was the post event. Cited Billy's appearance on Talk Jericho. Unpaid, close to 5 p.m. after a few straggler questions. An old event. Oh my god, we're finally at the end. An old event in Australia, memorabilia sales. KB suggested that it was a good point to take a break. The judge admonished Billy not to discuss his evidence with anyone overnight. BK said issue of admissibility of the TG disposition would come up first thing in the morning. This is where it began to hear from BB's Billy Barrister again. BB claimed that the defendant in California proceedings obtained BB to a statement from Elrod in violation and illegally obtained. Ooh, that's not good for Billy's barrister. The judge said he intends to read them without entering them in the official record to help the determination. KB petitioned that the court having the full evidence with cross-examination, and the court will be adjourned at 9 a.m. tomorrow, later today. But as spicy as the cross-examination, hardly the craziest revelation of the day. I hope to write soon. I also generally need a little sleep. See you back tomorrow. Okay, thus ends day one. And that's already a lot right there. I don't know what else more to say. Basically, no one is on Billy Mitchell's side, except for some weird Billy Mitchell defectors. But the point being here, guys, is that Billy Mitchell cheated. His reputation was his own undoing, and nothing that Carl said was false. Therefore, it's not defamation when it's fact. So you can't say that something is defamation when something is fact. So, for example, like my opponent in Find Me. My opponent in Find Me is upset about that they lost. So when I won and I showed the evidence, what did they do? They decided to slander me and they tried to retaliate the same way that Billy Mitchell is retaliating. So it's a key thing to note that when people lose an argument, they'll do whatever it takes. They'll throw a tantrum. They'll have people. They'll flip their hair, and they'll do whatever it takes to basically to prove their point, even when they're already wrong. And this is what my opponent Find Me and Billy Mitchell share 1000%. So anyway, guys, I don't know what else to say. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next Billy Mitchell video coming soon. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe.